Hi, thank you so much for agreeing to participate in the Lily Mae Francis interview on depression. I'll start with introducing myself. I am Lynn Collins Mae, co-founder of the Lily Mae Francis Foundation. And if you can tell me your name, your age, and where you reside.
My name is Jay. I am 32 years old and I live in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Okay. All right. So if you don't mind, Jay, I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into the questions. Okay. All right. First question. What is your definition of depression?
Um, my definition of depression probably would be like having emotions that you can't control, um, feeling down sometimes and not really knowing why. Uh, yeah, I think
Okay.
that would.
All right. Do you think most people experience depression from time to time?
I think most people do experience depression from time to time. I think that most people don't know that they're dealing with depression most times. If it's not like extreme or if it doesn't happen as often, people often dismiss it as something else. But I think that most people do deal with depression.
Okay. All right. So different levels of depression most people deal with, you think? Okay.
Right.
All right. Do you experience depression? And if so, how do you cope?
Uh, I personally do deal with depression. I am learning coping mechanisms as I get older. Actually, I found recently that I like to do things with my hands, like put things together. I cook for a living, so I enjoy to do that. Um, like trying new projects, drawing, coloring, doing things with different colors actually worked for me. I didn't used to enjoy colors. I used to wear a lot of black growing up, and I think that now that I'm older, brighter colors make me feel better. So
Hmm.
I think that was a part of learning what my coping mechanisms were.
Okay. Good point. I've never heard that. So that's really good observation you made. All right. Do you think enough attention and focus is given to mental illness and why?
No, I don't think that enough attention is given because most people um, kind of wave it off as like it's not that deep, especially if you're not like maybe like manic or really, really up and down most times. I think they just pass it off like, yeah, I'm just having a bad day or I'm having a bad few days. So people don't take it as seriously as they should. And most people that are around people that are dealing with depression don't make them seek the help that they need because they don't really understand it themselves.
Okay. Okay. And if you had a friend or loved one experience depression or signs of mental illness, what advice would you give?
Uh, that's a good question. I would say spend some time alone. Think about things that make you happy outside of being with other people. Because a lot of the times that we don't focus on the things that we need because we're around everybody, and sometimes having company around you makes you feel better without actually dealing with the things that are actually like going on inside your head. So I think that you should spend more time getting to know yourself and finding things that actually make you feel better in the time where you might not have nobody. So what do you do then?
So, I mean, would that advice just be for when they're down, or is that, overall advice saying that take time to isolate yourself or be alone, for just regular times, right?
Yeah, I think just regular time, like enjoy yourself, find out the things that you like, because you're not going to really know like what you really like unless you actually, figure out who you are. So if you spend the time alone and you're getting to know like what your triggers are and then figure out what things you can do to make yourself feel better, it'll make things flow a lot easier.
Okay. Do you know where to find resources if someone was having a mental health crisis?
No, actually, I do know the suicide hotline number, but I don't know like I don't know that they have like anything other than the suicide hotline for like people to call them like, hey, I just need somebody to talk to. I
Mhm.
don't know if that's something.
Yeah, you know what? And most of us don't, right? It's not readily available. I think most of us, if someone's having a mental health crisis, just 911 because that's all we
Right.
know. And I think that that's obviously something that we do need to have. So, okay. Why do you think there's such a stigma attached to depression or mental illness in our community?
Mm. Don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. I think that because we've had to deal with so much, we don't really take mental health or depression as seriously as we should, because for so long we've had to like be strong in other areas, and you don't really think about yourself, especially when you have family members that are very important to you that really, weigh a lot in your life. You don't really put yourself first. So your mental health is not that important. The mental health of the people that you love is more important than your own. So I think that we don't really make it as a serious point as we should to check on ourselves as we do the people that we
Mhm. And so do
love.
you think that, because when I say stigma, I'm thinking that, do you think um, in families, it is expected for people to be strong and that any type of depression or mental illness is considered weakness?
Most times, especially in, I would say for men in our culture, they're looked at to be a certain type of man, or whatever the stigma is, whatever the society puts on them. I think that um, we've made it very comfortable for us to just be like, you're being weak, or, stop being a little girl and stuff like that. And I think that we should choose our words more wisely and, take it more seriously, because it is a real thing. We have to deal with that.
Right. Okay. Last question. How do you think we can start having regular conversations as it pertains to mental health in general?
Um, I don't want to like compare the two, but I think that we should have like meetings the same way they do for like NA and AA, where people can just come out and speak their piece and not feel judged about what they say, because the person next to you is also going through the same thing, and their story might actually encourage you to share your story. So I think that people should get together more and take it more seriously and share their story, because it might make somebody else take their mental health more seriously.
Mhm. So, I mean, would you recommend, because I'm trying to figure out where would that happen though? Where would that start? Are we talking family gatherings? Are we talking, where would that initial conversation even start to make somebody feel like they could be, it's a safe place for them to share?
I guess gatherings. I guess it would start in the home first, and then as you have like family gatherings, make it a game. I guess when you have game night, make it a game, make it interesting, make it so people want to engage.
Mhm, mhm. Okay. All right. Well, that was actually all the questions I had for you, Jay. I truly appreciate you taking the time to participate in Lily Mae Francis interview. I would love to circle back to you for some other interviews that we may have if you are available. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. You have a great
Thank you. You too.